Look, I know one of the biggest bonuses of a podcast is being able to skip through things you don't want to hear about, but I would encourage you just to sit tight for just a second, because as the war in Ukraine enters month 3, it's hard to believe it's been that long, and you watch all the stories of families being displaced and lives being shattered, and you think, man, that's really sad. I wish there was something I could do about it. Here's the cool thing. You and me and all the potties could get together and actually maybe make a difference by helping families in Ukraine who have been displaced by all this violence. There's nearly 11 million people that have been forced out of their homes. And imagine that. You can't take everything with you. You've got to just pick and choose the few things you can carry as you try to get your family to safety. They say desperate times calls for desperate measures. Well, these are desperate times. That's why the Wally Show is partnering with Food for the Poor and 3,500 pastors in Ukraine and surrounding countries to help feed these people. And here's what's really cool. You can provide a meal for 25 cents, a quarter what we plug into a gumball machine. You could actually feed a child a meal. So now do some math with me. Your gift of $1 would actually feed a family of 4. Your gift of $10 sends 40 meals. Your gift of $25 will feed 100 people who desperately need it. So while this is a really sad story on the world stage, it is really cool to see the difference that a few motivated potties could make. So text the word Wally to 91999. That's Wally, W-A-L-L-Y, to 91999, and we'll send you a link to make a difference today.
Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. And if you didn't know, Wally is on vacation. So sans Wally, it's Gavin and I. And actually, this is going to be the last one because tomorrow, Gavin and I will be out. Wally will be out too. And so we'll be back to the normal show on Monday.
Yeah. If you've been missing Wally, then yay. If you have enjoyed these, then you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, exactly. So let's start with this. I don't know. Do you remember something called Internet Explorer? Do you know what that is, Gavin?
I remember using Internet Explorer for like a small portion of my young life. And then I switched over to Chrome, and Chrome has been my best friend for the last probably 10 years or so. Yeah.
Well, at the age of 26, Internet Explorer is finally dead.
Oh, we lasted this, I outlasted Internet Explorer is probably the better way to look at it.
Yeah. It was the browser everyone used in the late 90s and early 2000s, like you said. It killed off Netscape, which was what everyone was using before that.
No idea what that is.
I don't remember Netscape. But this Internet Explorer, it debuted in 95, and more than 90% of people were using it by 2003.
Oh, sure.
But then slowly, Safari and Firefox got introduced, and those took some of the users. And so now we're using Safari and Firefox. We're using Chrome too. That's on Macs. So anyways, Microsoft said, okay, Internet Explorer, it's dead. We're done with it. And they've introduced something now called Edge.
Ooh, edgy.
Internet Edge.
Good for them.
Supposedly it's just going to be a little faster, and it's going to come pre-downloaded on all Microsoft computers and stuff. So if you're one of the dinosaurs that's still using Internet Explorer, you're going to have to find something else because it doesn't work from now until the end of time.
Yeah. It seems like you've got so many different landscapes for competitive media outlets per se, because you've got this scape where you've got Netflix, Hulu, and all these streaming services competing. But it's interesting that we even have internets competing, where we have to say that something like Internet Explorer is like it's interesting that we don't all use just the same internet per se.
I see what you're saying.
Like whenever we want to just be on the World Wide Web, we just use 3 or 4 different things, and one was bound to die because it wasn't as cool as Chrome or Firefox.
Right. And the same could be said for, people tried to compete against Google.
Yeah, true.
There was
Bing.
That
was a weird one.
And then before that, it was Ask Jeeves.
Oh, what is that?
Do you remember that?
No.
It was something like it was this man, and he was like a butler or something, and it was Ask Jeeves. And so it was kind of like a Google thing.
I did this thing for about a month in college when I was feeling a little bit heroic, where there was a service that someone created where it was like every time you search, instead of Google searching something, if you search it on our website, we plant a tree in the world.
Oh.
And so I did that for about a month before I realized that it did not provide as much information as Google did. And I went back to
Google
the
knows
king
everything.
of the internet. Yep.
Yeah. But it makes me wonder, like, what are some of those things that you think are going to die out that we're using right now? Like, for instance, I bet iPods were like, oh, yeah, this
Never
is going
gonna
to
die.
Yeah. And now people don't really buy certain music anymore.
No.
You stream it all.
I think that everything feels like it's got to be streamlined per se. Like we used to have a phone, a device to listen to music on, a device to play video games on, and now every last one of those is on an iPhone or an Android or
That's true.
something like that. So I feel like things do want to be streamlined into just being in one place.
Mm-hmm. I also think too, they always say when it comes to clothing and fashion, old ways they come back. Yeah. And so old fads. And one of them that I would love to see come back, and I actually saw where I think it was Samsung they were doing it, but flip phones. Okay.
Oh, sure.
So iPhones haven't started doing this yet, but honestly, they don't have to worry. They just copy whatever Samsung, whatever Androids do, and they just make it better.
Oh, okay.
But I can believe that at some point we're going to look back and we're going to be like, that was so stupid to have an iPhone where it was flat. Its face was showing and it could easily be broken. Yeah. And we're going to think, how dumb was that? And we're going to bring back the flip phone. And I personally want the flip phone back, because if you want to hang up on someone, or if you want to be sure that they can't hear you anymore, you can just shut the phone.
Snapping the phone.
Shut the phone.
Was, to my detriment, a fidgety thing I could do where I'd open it, shut it, open it, shut it, which if I'm a parent, I'd be mad because that eventually is going to break. Mm-hmm. But I did like the aesthetic of opening it. And then I also, I was a fan of a keyboard, like an actual thing where you physically
I remember those. I wanted one of those.
Your
Never
buttons.
got one.
I liked that one a lot. It was slower though. I
wanted the Razor.
Ooh, fancy.
You heard of the Razor?
I remember the Razor.
It came in like gray and pink, I think.
Anything
Silver,
that came
maybe.
in multiple colors was much more appealing.
Sold. And this new color that they're putting out with iPhones, the green one, I want that one
really?
So bad.
I think that one looks a little pukey.
Really?
In my brain.
Oh, I love it. It's like my favorite.
And if
color.
you drop it in your yard, you might lose it.
That's true. But what do you think's going to happen with all of these streaming services? Okay, because we've already done the cable thing.
Yep.
So you can't go back to that. Or I guess you could.
You could, but no one's going to get rid of their streaming.
No, but it's getting ridiculous. What do you think kids are going to say 20 years from now? They're going to be like, you had that many streaming services? How stupid. How is it going to be one company that says, I've made a deal with all the streaming services, and now you can choose which streaming services you want?
If I had to guess, I believe that Disney eventually is just because Disney is trying to own everything. I think Disney will eventually outlast and probably buy everything and get it all into one location. And eventually it might not even be called Disney Plus, because when you think of Disney Plus, you're thinking of all the Disney stuff they have, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, all those things. I think they'll come up with a different service, because even nowadays I find people that aren't as interested in Netflix as they used to be. Though it's hard when stuff like Stranger Things pops up and that's such a big show. I couldn't imagine saying, oh, Stranger Things on Disney Plus.
Right. Well, and I think that's what makes Netflix stand out, because they do their own original stuff.
True.
And it's good.
Oh, it's phenomenal. I think that they come out with a new show or movie every month, every 2 weeks that I want to watch.
But Hulu tries to do the same thing. So does Amazon Prime. Yep. And it's not, there are a couple of things on Hulu where I'm like, okay. But Netflix is done really well with getting the A-type actors and actresses and stuff.
And they launched, I think they were the first ones to do it as well. I think one of their first shows, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone, was it was called House of Cards. And it was one of the first streaming service originals that was really good and had a good cast and did all this stuff. So they got in on the ground floor, and then they just keep pumping it out and pumping it out. All I know, though, is that Netflix does struggle financially because they throw so much money into all these massive projects. I don't know how, and that's why we're the ones who, suffer from it, because we're the ones having to pay their ever increasing numbers, where we used to be able to pay $8.99 and then 5 people could access your account. Now I think we're closer to like 22 bucks. I'm still on my parents' one, and I'm praying that they don't go down that
They're
route.
locking down though
I know
on the whole password
I
thing.
can't afford to pay $22 for my own Netflix.
Well, and also too, do you remember the day when you could order like a Netflix movie?
I
and
never
it would be
did
sent in the
that.
mail? I didn't either, but I remember people doing
That's
it.
how they started.
Yeah.
It was like the online Redbox, basically.
And do you think Redbox is going to die out?
I think it will.
Is it already dying out?
I still see it in like Walmart entries, basically. And I was still doing it up until a couple of years ago. But then they started very quickly releasing movies that you would want to rent, and they would just put them on either like Disney Plus was putting them on, HBO Max has a lot that they're putting on.
So
Netflix
it's like, well,
puts out
why-
good movies. Well, yeah, why
Yeah.
get a hard copy of something?
And then I have to go back and return it. And I
More-
could just stay
it's more
home.
work.
I've actually even paid money to have it just stream at home.
Oh,
like,
sure.
you know, and you can rent a movie.
and it's a
just-
little bit more expensive, but
Oh, it's definitely more expensive, like maybe $5 more, but I don't have to go back and return anything. And then with gas prices being the way that they are, nobody wants to go out and do anything.
no, I'm basically paying the same amount for driving 20 minutes to Walmart as I am just paying the extra $3 on
Yes.
Amazon Prime.
I saw a TikTok video where this guy was starting up his truck and he said, well, there's $20.
Yep. I was behind a woman last night at a pilot, and she was filling up a truck, and just like the look on her face when I saw her, she like put the tank or put the what is it called? The thing in her
nozzle?
tank. Yeah, the nozzle in the tank. And I saw her look up at the thing as it started filling up, and then all she did was turned around because I didn't think she wanted to see the number, and then she turned back at the end, and I just saw sort of like defeat.
A defeated
And I'm just
look.
like, I'm about to feel that too.
It is. It's gotten ridiculous. And I
Yeah.
saw something there where it was like, well, when I went to California not that long ago, it was $6 or $7. And I think somebody was saying it was getting up to $9. It's like,
I heard something like 10.
that's insane.
I hope that they're
That's
exaggerating.
insane. There's no way.
You
Nobody's
can't-
going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, you like if you're averaging $100, and I know that there are people who are averaging close to $100 for their tank because they've got these massive tanks, and I feel beneficial because I've got a Civic that cost me about $50 to fill up, but I've been so used to $20 in the past.
Oh, I know.
And it's annoying that we keep having the conversation about how annoying this is. Like I feel like we should be getting closer to the cusp of, you know, either Biden or somebody deciding, okay, we're going to actually do something about this.
Yeah.
And I know summer gas prices do just go up because people are traveling. And I'm not going to stop travel. Like people
Yeah.
these days, I don't think want to not travel because we spent 2 years not traveling.
Exactly.
So how do you come out of the 2 years, want to travel, but then look at the gas prices and say, oh, okay, that's awful. I guess we're just going to spend more money.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know that, you know, I'm sure prices of airline tickets have gone up because of the same reasons. And I don't know. I've been told that they're wanting to push electric cars on us. But electric cars are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, and the amount of like actual electric fill-up stations is minuscule compared to the gas pumps that we have out there. So if you get stuck somewhere, I don't know, you can walk somewhere and grab the extra gallon from the gas station. It'd be a far walk, but I don't know. Do we have people who bring like portable electric
Does
chargers?
AAA handle that?
I don't know.
I don't
Do you just like plug you're like, can I exchange some of my phone battery life for an
how does
extra
that
few
work?
miles? I have
don't
no
know.
clue.
And let's keep in mind, peasants like us, we can't afford an electric car.
Tesla's not putting out like the model that
Right.
I can afford yet.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No.
I've got a list of celebrities that when they passed on, that it actually affected a lot of people. Like, even though you didn't know them personally, still their passing really affected you.
Be impressive if you did know them personally.
Yeah, that would be. First off, Crocodile hunter Steve Irwin. That was tough.
I do remember feeling like, because I was such a young kid when that happened.
Yeah.
And he was somebody that I watched a lot of his shows. And so to have that happen, it was like, oh my goodness, I thought he was immortal.
Oh, yeah. And two, he was just so kind and genuine and sweet. And then when you see all these videos, I watched for a little bit. I forget what it was called, but it was on some channel and it was called like Irwin Hospital or something like that. But it was all about the Bindi Irwin and her brother, I forget his name, but they were keeping all the not the kids, but the animals of their zoo, keeping them alive. And it was like this vet hospital thing. But she would always talk about her dad and how much she loved him. And then she was on Dancing with the Stars, and they had to do a dance where it was like for someone that they appreciated. And she did one for her dad, and it made me bawl like a baby. And just the ironic way that he passed on.
Yeah, doing his job.
Right.
I would say.
Helping animals.
Yeah.
And it was an animal that got him.
You've got,
so sad.
His son was Robert Irwin.
Robert Irwin.
And he's really big on, I just feel like he's big on the internet right now. I feel like I see his TikToks, which everyone's on TikTok.
I haven't seen his.
I've seen him. He goes on like a lot of night shows. I've seen him on like Jimmy Fallon, and he brings like snakes and
he
animals.
seems genuine nice too.
Oh yeah, that whole family does seem like a really good core. That I think that Steve and his wife. I feel bad because I can't ever remember what his wife's name is.
I can't either.
Terry or something.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah,
it is Terry. Okay, so
and then Bindi and her husband, they're so cute.
Oh yeah, she's married, and I think she actually
had a baby.
She had a baby.
Yeah, so cute.
And Robert just turned 18 recently, so like they're all
it's just wonderful
grown up. Because I can remember the day that he passed. Yeah,
it's so sad. Another one, Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park.
Oh sure,
that affected a lot of people. That wasn't that long ago, I don't think.
No, but I know that impacted more. Yeah, the music industry. I know. Right.
Well, and two, what I liked about Lincoln Park's music at the beginning was that you didn't see any explicit titles on their albums. They kept it clean. Now the focus of their music was all about anger and frustration.
It was super angsty.
Yeah, it was. But Chester Bennington was the lead singer. It was him and that other guy.
The guy who kind of rapped.
Yeah, but they were so great together. Mm-hmm. And I think what was hard for it was because their music was aimed towards a group of people that felt like they were misunderstood and they were against the power or whatever it was. And Chester Bennington actually, he made the decision to leave.
Oh, he did? Yeah, I didn't know that.
He did. He took his own life. And so...
in that... Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think that probably hurt a lot of their fans because they might have found themselves dealing with the same thing. And then Linkin Park's music helped them pull through something like that. Really sad. Kobe Bryant.
That one was
This one wasn't he's a child of God, so it's a big deal. But I'm not a big sports person.
No,
I really didn't get it.
I wouldn't expect that from you. It was just not your world per se, but that one wasn't actually like, as I follow sports and I watch a lot of basketball, it still is like super impactful towards a lot of people. Because if you're thinking about these kids who play basketball because they watched Kobe Bryant and watched and loved how Kobe Bryant played. Like for him to pass, it's like something where like, oh, he's had such an impact on how I play the game. And for even the pros who said that they followed him and played like him and wanted to be just like him because he worked like incredibly hard. So
he just seemed invincible.
Yeah.
Like he could do anything, beat anything.
Yeah.
And then for something so simple as and it was a helicopter crash that where he wasn't, I don't think he even had to be on that helicopter.
No, it was basically flying from one part of LA to another.
Right. And he had his daughter with him.
I think that was almost
so sad.
As impactful that he did have one of his kids on board with him, and that she was somebody that he had poured a lot of life into and was playing basketball as well. So I think that one had like a twofold punch to the gut.
Right. Exactly. And I think that happened January 2020. So it was right before the whole COVID pandemic went down.
It was a bad year.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, we don't have any birthdays.
Happy birthday to nobody.
So we're going to talk about
weekend plans. Everyone's got them weekend plans. We still got those.
So, like I said, Gavin and I are both out tomorrow, and so is Wally. He's still on vacay. So let's talk about what we're doing over the weekend. So the reason I'm out tomorrow is because right after I leave here, I'm heading to Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay, I didn't know that. Oh, are you going for
Well, first off, I'm going today because today is one of my best friend's birthdays, Jerry Ann.
Nice.
And so I'm going to go down there and spend some time with her and
that's
her
cool
family.
That you get to be there for her birthday.
Exactly. And then I'm going to spend the night at her place. And then tomorrow, Crowder is going to be in Albertville, Alabama.
Sounds like an Alabama city. I don't know.
I think he's going to be there with We the Kingdom.
Oh, that's a fun concert.
And somebody else. It might be Kane. I can't remember. Anyways, they're doing like a tailgate party or whatever. And so I'm going to be there to host that.
Nice.
And then do some announcements beforehand. So if you're going to be there, be sure to say hi.
Do you have, because, you're going on stage, you want to look a certain way. Have you already picked out the
I had
look?
to. Well, I had to because I had to pack.
Sure.
So,
Are you packed like right now?
Yeah.
Are you heading?
Yeah.
You're
right
ready
after,
to tail out of here to
exactly.
Alabama.
Exactly.
Okay.
But this one is tricky because, as you know, we're going through a heat wave right now. And so I looked at how hot it's going to be tomorrow in Albertville, 94. And this tailgate party is going to be outside. So I have to so I have to figure out what to wear. And I brought a couple of ideas because I'm still just not sure.
Sure.
Because I'm going to be a sweaty, hot mess.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be around people afterwards because I'm afraid I'm going to smell to high heaven. I'm going to bring my deodorant with me and my body spray, but I hope they have a tent at least.
Oh, sure.
Maybe a bottle.
I feel for the people performing on stage because they're the ones who are, if they're performing outside.
Well, I don't know if that's going to be outside. That might be inside, but I know the tailgate party is outside.
I hope it is. I feel like it'd be dangerous because most of these people, they don't perform in like shorts and a t-shirt.
No.
When it comes to their look, they're usually decked out.
I saw there was an amphitheater that's down here in Nashville. I forget what it's called, but I saw Need to Breathe out there, and they're wearing leather jackets and jeans and hats, and I'm like, and I saw them, and they were dripping sweat.
Yep. I know that.
That's not good.
I think I saw for King and Country. I don't know if it was summer per se, but their whole attire is like the longest coats you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
That you're like, you could be in winter and be way more comfortable.
That's terrible.
So I totally understand. Like you want to look a certain way on stage. Like you should look like a rock star if you have the ability to. But if I was that person, you'd see me in
like, you know what? Listen, I'm going to do Bermuda shorts and no shirt.
Yeah, you'd be like, wow, he is killing it with those Crocs right now. He looks comfortable. And this music is okay.
I mean, yes, he's driving away his audience, but he is cool. And then Saturday, I plan to just rest after all of that.
Are you coming home on Saturday then or staying out there?
I'm coming home after I do announcements.
Okay.
So that night.
Nice.
And then Sunday is Father's Day. If you didn't realize it, it's Father's Day. So get your tail in gear.
I'm going to have to call my dad.
Okay.
Maybe get him a letter.
I am thinking maybe Sunday I need to call them and tell them, but I'm thinking after church, I might drive down there and give him his present and have dinner with them and all that. So that's my weekend.
That sounds glorious. I'm glad you're still able to get your full weekend per se.
Yeah,
because you're coming back on Friday.
Yeah.
Today, I'm also going to go from the station back to my house to load a car and then drive 9 hours to Kansas City.
Wow.
I believe I would have loved to have done that as like an early morning drive, but my wife is like, "Oh, let's get an extra day. We're going out on Thursday." So gonna leave after this, after waking up at 4:30 still.
What time are you getting on the road?
Probably noon would be the hope.
So
Haley's gonna get home before me and pack.
Oh, okay.
And make sure that when I get home we're kind of just all ready to go. So
what's in Kansas City?
So my in-laws, so my Haley's brother, his wife, and then our niece and nephew live out there, and it's my niece's first birthday. And so Haley said that we would go to every niece and nephew's first birthday. And then she was all like, "Oh, we could probably go to like all the young ones at this point." And I was like, "Okay, let's do 1, 5, 10, maybe 13, maybe 18. Like I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like. I probably will not be going to any of my nieces and nephews' 13-year-old birthday. But first one, I'm down to do that, even though they don't care.
And you don't have any kids, so that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, and we have
once
somebody.
you have kids, then it's going to be like, oh my gosh.
And right now we're having somebody who watched our dogs last weekend come back and watch them again. So we're giving a good grip of cash to a college student in the span of like 9 days, which good for her.
And then gas on top of that.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Man. Yeah, it's going to be great. And we paid for an Airbnb. So we're like, this in our last vacation, this was like, we saved our money for this time of year. But
you're not staying with your in-laws. You're staying at an Airbnb.
No, I think they just moved into a new house. And I think that the in-law, my sister-in-law's family is in town, and I think that they are going to be staying. And it's only Haley and I and her dad that are in town, so not as much of Haley's brother's family is in town.
Got it.
And we personally love them, but I think we have a timer with how much time we can spend with them.
Yes.
That can't be solved by, hey, I'm going up to the room that I'm staying in your home.
Yes.
And so we wanted to book something that could act as our escape. Because
understand.
the last trip we were there was sort of a falling out.
Oh. That
I don't know if it would have been avoided via us not being there. Mm-hmm. But this way, yes, I get a bed that I can sleep. Because we slept in like we slept in our nephew's full-size bed, and I sleep in a king at home. So we were like, okay, we'll spend the extra money.
Does the Airbnb come with a king?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's a couple beds.
And hopefully a good AC.
I think Haley's dad's going to come stay with us, which will be cool, because I love her mom and dad. They are like the best case scenario in-laws that I could have wished for. So definitely looking forward to hanging out with him and the other in-laws and celebrating the little girl's birthday who she won't even be conscious of.
She's like, what are we doing?
Remember anything. She's like, bunch of faces I don't recognize. That'll be great.
When are you coming back?
I think we're coming back on Sunday. So we're going to hopefully launch early on Sunday if I can get Haley to agree to that, so that we can spend a few hours at the house preparing for the return to normal.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, and I'm sure you'll have stories.
Yep.
I might have a story. And Wally, oh my gosh, he's going to have all the stories.
This is preparation for next Monday's first show and Aftercast, is that at least 15 minutes on the luggage. Missing.
Oh yeah,
because if you followed Wally on Instagram,
if you search Wally Show on Instagram, you can watch the stories there. But yeah, like he lost his luggage. His wife got hers, but he didn't get his. And I know that all he had was the clothes that he was wearing.
Yep. And
I don't know what he did after that. But I'm sure we'll find out.
He looks like he's having fun, so we'll get some fun stories. Mm-hmm. But yeah, solid 10-15 on just the luggage being missing alone. I
would go for 30.
It'll be a topic. It'll be, a lot of ranting.
For sure. Well, that's all we've got for the Aftercast. We hope you have a great weekend. Ooh. And as always,
thanks for being a potty.